This is the Voiceover Marketing Podcast, episode 55. 55. I can't drive 55.
Stop it already! Get on with the episode! And stop singing!
Hey there, it's John. How are you? Thanks for spending some time with me today. Wowzy, woo woo. Why wowzy, woo woo? Well, a big thanks to everybody for their outpouring of support since the last episode. Episode 54, I explained I was in a bit of a funk creatively. And there were a lot of folks that reached out and said, yeah, we get it. Sometimes you need to step back. Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, all the voiceover marketing podcast groups and those various odd and sundry social media outlets. We had, so far, for just that last episode, released on the 26th of April, 616 downloads alone. And reason for wowzy woo woo is all-time downloads of the various odd and sundry episodes of the Voiceover Marketing Podcast is 73,056. That's really kind of wild when you think about it. That's cool. Want to give a few special shout-outs to some folks who reached out and thanked me for the new episode. Keith Morris. Keith, very big thank you to you. Don't want this to sound self-serving, but Keith has a great blog if you want to check it out. Keith Morris, VO. That's Keith, Keith, Morris, 2 R's, 1 S, VO.blogspot.com. He wrote a blog post citing episode 54 of the podcast, so thank you. But he's got some really good content there, so you should check that out if you are interested. So thank you, Keith. Also, Jane Asher, who reached out to me on LinkedIn. Thank you. Also want to thank John Fitzgerald Kelly, Malena Lopez, Robin Moyle Castellanos, Doug Denance, Tessany Rizvi, and Nolan McLean Barkdal for joining the Voiceover Marketing Podcast group on Facebook. Thank you, folks. Thanks for listening, and thanks for clicking to join, saying hello. Also, a friend of mine did a Throwback Thursday picture, and if you want to see probably my first time in a radio studio, a picture... We look so angry and tough. There's a picture of me with some high school buddies at... Brandeis University radio station back in the 80s. Let's see if you can figure out which one I am. It's probably tagged, so it won't be too much of a challenge. But at any rate, if you want to check that out, that was so funny to see that. Oh my gosh, I went spinning back in time. You can check that out at the Voiceover Marketing Podcast group on Facebook. And thanks for everybody who signed up on the mailing list, the Voiceover Marketing Podcast mailing list. Every week I send out like a thoughtful question that refers back to a previous episode of the podcast. No selling other than to get you to listen to the episode or re-listen to the episode. So please do that. And thanks for everyone who did that as well. I've been really flattered by everybody's comments about, hey, we're glad you're back and posting new content. Yeah, we get the winter funk and the need to step back a bit at times, so appreciate that. Well, I have a question for you. This has got nothing to do with voiceover at all, but since we all talk a lot, I want to ask, do you find yourself talking to the microwave? Like, you put a cup of coffee in there to reheat it or something. I apologize for all you coffee purists out there going, no, he's reheating coffee. Yeah, I like nice coffee, but at the same time, I'm not too proud to just toss it in the microwave for 30 seconds and warm it up. At any rate, you put something in the microwave, you set it to go, it does its thing, the time expires or finishes up, oh God, I can't talk. Finishes up its little warming routine and you forget about it, and then it goes to remind you, and you're like, yeah, okay, I get it. And then you forget about it again and you continue on with whatever else it is you're doing, and then it goes to remind you that there's something warm, which is now cooling down in the microwave. And you're like, yeah, all right, I got it already, all right. And you find yourself talking to the machine and you're thinking, why am I talking to the machine? The other thing I do now is I talk to the television. I'll watch newscast rarely because my dad actually coined it years ago. It's not news. It's the sames. You know, you got some poor unfortunate that got robbed. A fire, unfortunately, broke out. Somebody did something really stupid, like text and drove at the same time. You got some corrupt politician that has their hand in the till. Yeah, you know, I mean, really, nothing new here. You know, so it's called the sames. Anyway, so that's what I'll be doing. You know, and bad grammar drives me crazy when I'm watching the news. Or what is it with people who can't pronounce the letter W? Like go double, or famous in these parts here in New England, double E. Double E blankety blank blank. And I'm yelling at the television or the radio, W, 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 and temperature. The temperature today is a balmy 65 degrees. And what do we have on tap? Sprinkles, scattered showers, and temperatures in the 40s overnight. Temperature. And I'm from Boston, you know, where we would pack the car and have it yard. That's how you really say it. I love that. I'm kind of off. I've had some coffee today. Non-microwave heated coffee, by the way. But I'm ramped. And I'm yelling at pack the car and have it yard. That's the way to do it. Pack the car and have it yard. You get these people going, pack the car and have it yard. Yeah, that's my Boston imitation. No, it's not. It's not a very good one. Pack the car and have it yard. The only guys who get it right are Matt Damon, who's, you know, he's a good actor, but kind of tired of him. Ben Affleck, oh, God, please. His brother Casey far outshines Ben. Ben's a whiner. Sorry for all you Ben Affleck fans out there. And Ben, if you're listening, you know, you whine a lot. For a Bostonian, you whine a lot. And, of course, the Wahlbergs. Mackie Mac, Donnie, we're from Boston. We know how it works. We know how it's done. We're proud of it. And different parts of the greater Boston area have slight variations on the Boston accent. We're aware of that, too. We're very provincial. Everybody comes here for college, and you stay. And we can tell. Do us a favor. Go home, will you? You're clogging up our streets and making traffic miserable. Wow, where did this come from today? I thought, wow, am I going to have enough for an episode? Maybe you've tuned out already. A lot of folks like the free-form episode. I've got a great interview I'm going to be doing with a guest, a repeat guest. His name is Rob Berkeley. He runs Vision Day, and he talks about creating a vision for your business and your life and a lack of vision. And I want to give away the whole episode today because I'm going to be interviewing him tomorrow for next week. And be sure to tune into that. We get a lot of downloads on Rob's first episode with us, which was way back early in like the first 10 episodes. Can't recall which one it was. So, yeah. Had a number of things that just popped into my head over the course of the week that I thought I'd share with you. One book that I'm reading is, actually I just finished it, The Obstacle is the Way. The Timeless Art of Turning Trials into Triumph by Ryan Holiday, and talks a lot about Stoicism, which I thought was interesting. I've heard about Stoicism, also combined that with a lot of references to Stoicism in my study of Revolutionary War era history. I live in the Boston area, the Boston Massacre, John Quincy Adams, presidents in the city of presidents, Quincy, Massachusetts. And there's a lot of stuff that we can learn from history. And a lot of those Revolutionary era, even Thomas Jefferson, which was in Virginia, and what George Washington was from Virginia as well, obviously. And a lot of them took a lot of knowledge and guidance from Stoicism, the Roman version of Stoicism as I'm becoming more and more familiar with this. Very interesting thing on the way to overcoming an obstacle or something that's holding you back is the obstacle itself. There's a book by Stephen Pressfield, Do the Work, or The War of Art. Those are two titles by Stephen Pressfield, who wrote The Legend of Bagger Vance, which was turned into the movie. Stephen Pressfield talks about the power of resistance and overcoming resistance. And resistance, whenever you feel like you need to do something and you're fighting against yourself. So let's say, you should be doing more sit-ups. And then you have the resistance of like, I'm a little tired. I'll rest up tonight and do them in the morning. Okay. Or I should really eat a salad, but hey, there's pizza dropped off at the radio station. I don't eat pizza. But if you ever want pizza, hang out at a radio station. It's everywhere, every day. And if I've gotten away from eating bread and pasta and grains, and if you get away from it, you take a nibble of it, you can taste, they use this enriched flour, vitamin-enriched flour, and the iron-enriched flour, and you can taste the iron. It's really yucky. Why am I talking about this? So, The Obstacle is the Way by Ryan Holiday. That's Ryan Holiday, as in Christmas, Hanukkah, Easter, Thanksgiving, 4th of July holiday. Wow. Whatever it is that you're facing, you face that. And that by staring it down, if you will, and working at that obstacle, that's the way that you make progress, or you find a way around it. You almost have to see these obstacles head on and move toward them. The War of Art by Stephen Pressfield and Do the Work by Stephen Pressfield. Similar concept. It's overcoming resistance. And resistance is anything that you are resisting, but that deep down you should be doing. And what he says in his book is if you're feeling resistance to something, that's probably what you need to be working on. You can use it wherever you're feeling resistance is a roadmap for you to improve whatever it is you're trying to improve. Improve your life, improve your business, improve your fitness, your health, improve your relationships with your family, with God, whomever, your spouse, your boss. So when you're feeling resistance there, that's like a flag like, hey, look over here. But what resistance wants you to do is like, you're not passing through here. Go find something else to do. Take a nap, watch television, or search the web, scroll through Facebook, But if you turn it around, which is what the obstacle is the way, or the Stoicism talks about, is if you flip it around, like if you look at something that's getting in your way, like I can't accomplish this. If you turn it around and say, wow, this is an impossible task. If you look at that as a roadmap for where you actually have to go and what you have to attack and work on, you can turn the, how am I ever going to do this to, aha, if I tackle this and move forward on this, this is how I'm going to improve and achieve what I want. And yeah, that takes hard work. And, we throw obstacles in our way all the time. For me, it was like, this past winter and the creative juices and everything. I had episode 54 of the podcast recorded for over a month. And I sat there thinking, do I really want to reveal this much about myself? Do I want to share that story about the business, the family retail shop? Do I want to tell people that I'm human and that I have downtimes, a lack of creativity? Do I really want to share that with people? I don't know. I don't really feel comfortable about that. And I put it off, and I put it off, and I put it off. And here's the value of having a coach. If you don't have a coach, think about investing in a coach. I'm not doing this for self-serving. If you want to reach out to me about coaching, that's fine. But if you've got other people that you admire or are successful in some way where you want to be successful, reach out to them and ask them for help and get them to be your coach if they're willing, And I have this coach, Rob Berkeley, and I've been with Rob for 8 years. And he's been walking me through this funk that I've been in. And I was kind of getting back on my feet, creatively. I was like, yeah, okay, I haven't done this in a while. I want to get this podcast up and running again. I really like the podcast and what's keeping me back. And I was talking to him the other day and I said, you know what? I was kind of embarrassed because I hadn't published in a while. For a while, it made sense that I hadn't because it's like I had all this other stuff going on. And then it was like I had this thing where I turned it around on myself and I said, I haven't published in a while. People are going to be thinking, wow, where is this guy? And then we're not going to pay attention to him anymore because I felt embarrassed that I hadn't been publishing. And I'm even revealing this to you now. So I just kept putting off publishing for like 4 or 5 weeks. And I had the thing. And I had it mostly edited. I go through and take out some of the ums and uhs. And occasionally I'll look stuff up on the internet, statistics and book titles and things of that nature while I'm recording. And you don't need to hear the empty space of me typing my keys because I can't walk and chew gum at the same time. Typing, I didn't take typing in high school like I should have. I thought, I wouldn't have to do that. Wow, was I wrong? Anyway, aside from that, so I tighten all that stuff up. Anyway, and this is where the coach thing comes in, back to that, and the obstacle is the way. And I had this episode recorded and mostly edited, and I just couldn't bring myself. I was like, today I'm going to do it. And then other stuff would come in and they were legit things that I had to do. But how convenient this was. I didn't get to it today. Spring weather's here. You know what? I really want to go outside. All that's legit. But at the same time, it's like, if I want to make this podcast work, I got to make this podcast work. And that means I got to work the podcast. And so I was coming up on my coaching call with my coach, Rob. And I was like, if I go to that call and he asks me, so how's the podcast? And I'm like, yeah, I remember I told you I recorded it and edited most of it, but I haven't published it yet. He's going to be like, what's going on, dude? Why? How come? What reason do you have? And I had that in the back of my head. And I'm thinking, I don't want to go through that. So I pushed through. And then I went back to the episode. And if you haven't listened to episode 54 yet, go back and listen to it. It's kind of my confessions of a creative person. And fortunately, you folks are creative too, so you get it. There's ebbs and flows, and at any rate, so I went back and finished editing it, and I thought, this isn't that bad. I turned this into more than it really was. And having had the time to step back and look at it, I was like, there really isn't anything terrible in here. And the obstacle was editing and publishing the podcast. And the obstacle is the way. How so? I went to my lack of publishing and pushed through the publishing of that episode. And the only way that episode was going to get published is if I actually did it. And I think you may have heard me say, I'm doing this for myself to get my creative juices flowing again. And this was before I had even, like I said, I had recorded that episode over a month ago, a month before I published it. I hadn't read this book. So I kind of stumbled in on this on my own. The only way this is going to get done is if I do it. And the obstacle was really something that I created in my mind about, what are people going to think of me? I haven't published in a while. I'm embarrassed. I don't really want to share all of this stuff about myself. It's really personal, I like, I hate the wintertime and I get kind of in a funk. And, I haven't been very creative lately. And, I'm telling stories about the family business and yada, yada, yada. And, this, that, and the other thing. And second guessing myself. And it wasn't until I faced it and listened to it and edited it. Say that 10 times real fast. Edited it. There's 3. That's enough. Until I did that I finally, it's like breaking a log jam and letting it flow. It's a pretty good book. It's a pretty fast read. The Obstacle is the Way by Ryan Holiday. I'll have a link to it in the show notes. And it's gotten me interested in reading some other things too. But I just wanted to share that thought with you, that if you're stuck in stuff and you're looking for a way to get unstuck, instead of looking at what's blocking you or has got you stuck in a negative way, look at it as a roadmap. Like, aha, this is where I've got to go. This is what I've got to do to accomplish what I want to accomplish. And it's a mindset. It's, you flip it 180 degrees. And if you look at it as, oh, how am I going to do this, to this is what I need to do. This is how I'm going to get there. It's a really, really cool thing to do. And so I leave you with that. If you've got any questions, feel free to reach out to me through the website directly, comment on this episode, sign up for the mailing list, reach out on the Facebook or LinkedIn, Voiceover Marketing Podcast groups, and I'm on Twitter at, what am I at Twitter? Here, I won't edit this out. This is what I do. I go, oh, Twitter. I am at, click home, I am at John Melly, at JOHNMELLEY. And if you'll indulge me, I'm going to shift gears completely here. I learned about a month or so ago that my mentor, my voiceover and production mentor of many years, Dick Durante, passed away back in January of this year. And when I learned of the news, I was really upset about it. You know, he'd been a coach of mine, a friend of mine. I wouldn't be sitting in this chair today without Dick and without his teachings and without his encouragement and support and putting my name forth to people who could give me opportunities that I have today. And so if you grew up in the Boston area, you grew up listening to jingles that Dick wrote and performed. And he, you know, I re-listened to his demos in preparation for this podcast. I got nothing on this guy. He was so creative, a fantastic musician. He could sing, he could play guitar, he could play keyboard, he would sequence, he would compose jingles and arrange them. He'd hire singers. He could write, he could do voices. He was such a clever person. He could turn a phrase. He could take two different concepts and tie them together and leave you scratching your head and thinking, oh my gosh, that's so clever. And so if you'll indulge me, I'd love to play his demos for you in a tribute to him. Dick, if you're listening, thank you for everything. And I miss you and I love you. Ladies and gentlemen, Dick Durante.
And now, the Pinhead Singers for the Portable Store.
We're the Portable Store. We move from town to town.
No, that's not right.
We're looking for a home.
No.
We're the Portable Store.
Right, but we don't move what we have does.
Okay.
Try it again.
We're the Portable Store. We're mounted on wheels.
I don't think so.
So if you don't like us, we'll move.
We'll move. Look, first, they'll love us. Second, we're the Portable Store. We don't move what we have does.
Oh.
You have one more chance to get this right, okay?
We're the Portable Store. We have a giant handle on a loop. We're the Portable Store. We're pulled by Clydesdales.
Clydesdales?
We're the Portable Store.
We don't move what we have does.
You just said that in the first place. We're the Portable Store.
You guys have just wasted a whole minute. When the Pilgrims first arrived, land ho! And after yelling land ho, they'd built up quite an appetite following their long journey. It was further than I thought. So they dug a huge pit, filled it with seaweed and good food from the ocean and the land, and had the first clam bake.
Oh, we must do this again.
For Thanksgiving! Today, we still love a good clam bake, and it's a lot more fun now because it's the best bake in Boston, and it's back all summer, every day for lunch and dinner at the Last Hurrah in the Omni Parker House.
The event.
The extreme event featuring exhibits from leading manufacturers.
The expo has it.
Boston's biggest equipment sale and extreme event ever.
Blades, boards, and bikes.
This Friday, 1 to 9, Saturday, 10 to 9, and Sunday, 10 to 5. Bayside Expo Center.
Don't miss it.
Somewhere near the beginning, man and woman created the wheel.
Do you think it's round enough?
Don't it need a hubcap? And life was good.
I'm taking the wheel out for a spin.
Can you swing by, stop and pick, and get some nuts and berries? But there were problems.
Here, sticks for the fire.
That's it!
Well, I had to roller the wheel.
Maybe it would be more fun if several wheels were stuck together with a car or something over them, and you could carry things like people. Well, that's just what they've done at Acura Isuzu. This is a story about noise, about frustration, about sitting on the expressway, not moving, sitting. Sitting on the artery, sitting in a tunnel, sitting in a swirl of exhaust fumes. And while this story begins as a nightmare, it has a happy ending. In fact, let's go there now. The Harbor Express Water Shuttle. June, the month that finally signals the arrival of summer. And in Dedham, ants march on a picnic.
This way, man.
In Framingham, a mosquito lands on a suntanned body.
How you doing?
And in Raynham, a single flea brings thousands of bargains to thousands of people.
What?
It's the Raynham Flea, New England's premier flea market.
Hey, come on in, Phil. Welcome to my Lloyd's Rib Party. You're early. No one's here yet.
Boy, it's gonna be some game, huh?
Oh, sure. Too bad you weren't with us last year. We had a great time. Oh, that's probably Alex. Hey, man, what'd you bring?
Just some potato salad to go with those fabulous Lloyd's ribs. Oh, what time's the game?
Same as last year.
I don't know.
No matter what kind of party, when it's with Lloyd's Ribs, all the attention is on what's cooking.
Hey, shouldn't we have the TV on?
Okay,
Yeah,
sure,
whatever.
fine.
Howdy, Cowboy Ramblin' Roy.
Howdy, buckaroos.
Tell us a story about the Old West.
Well, after a half a day on the trail, we'd pull the wagons over and form a circle, or sometimes a half circle, maybe even a trapezoid.
You're rambling again, Cowboy Ramblin' Roy.
Oh, yeah, where was I? Well, we'd make camp, build a fire, spend the rest of the day cooking up some of them mouth-watering cowboy beans.
Oh, you mean the kind you can get in the fresh meat case of your supermarket right near Lloyd's Barbecue Ribs and Lloyd's Barbecue Sauce?
Huh?
Oh, you mean like Lloyd's barbecue flavored cowboy beans?
I don't think so. We cook them forever, and they made us real fat.
Canopy Lake is the place you can take everyone in the family. There's so much more to see in Canopy. Summer fun in the summer sun. Canopy Lake. The wind and water against your face. So much fun in just one place. Hang on for the wild one. Hang on for the cool one. Enchanted Forest Water Safari, where the fun never stops.
The high performance toy store, its name is A&G, where you can take home all that style and drive in luxury. You never have to pay full price for anything you see. So drive away in all that style. Come to A&G. A&G. Come to A&G. Dig into salads and soups that'll cool ya.
Treats that are Cajun, but don't let them fool ya. The number one reason they put on the bibs is we've got the best tasting barbecue ribs.
Ripples on the bay. Up on their feet, feeling the beat, feeling the beat. Cause Daily Chevrolet's got the good ones. Chevrolet's got the good. Daily Chevrolet's got the good ones.
Don't let them get away.
Daily Chevrolet's got the good ones.
Don't let them get away.
Daily Chevrolet's got the good ones. A custom feel, a custom fit. The pride in how you look, that's as good as it gets. Caruso's Custom Clothiers, that's as good as it gets.
You've reached the peak, you found the best. You're at the top, you passed the rest. The home of Mr. Unibody R&B. Unibody R&B.
Rousseau Marine. It's a whole night to dance and to party. A night that'll end too soon. Bogies, you gotta get there early. Bogies, cause you'll wonder where the night went. Bogies.
Toll free 866-EMPTY-IT. Toll free 866-EMPTY-IT. It's gone so long. Toll free 866-EMPTY-IT.
Bye-bye.
Our program originates in the Boston studios. We hope you'll join us again. Until then, we bid you au revoir, keep your chin up, and the best of luck.
Well, that's it for this episode of the VoiceOver Marketing Podcast. If you like this podcast, please subscribe to it at voiceovermarketingpodcast.com so you'll get notices of new episodes, and please share it with your friends and colleagues in the voiceover world. Also, it would be a huge help if you'd like this podcast and rate it on iTunes to help keep it near the top of the list. Feel free to share your comments and questions about this episode and future topics you'd like discussed at voiceovermarketingpodcast.com. And if you'd like more information on one-on-one coaching where we focus on growing your business, feel free to drop me a line at my cyber assistant's email address at mike@johnmelly.com. Thanks for listening. Now go out there and share your voice with the world.